Hi, good evening, everyone. We had a small break last week, and we hope you did not miss us too much. I'm Celestia Faith Chong. Celestia Faith Chong, your host for today. My hosts are my guests are laughing. But anyway, welcome to the last part of the series, Securing Your Future Amidst Uncertainty, a 3-part live stream series where today we focus on life partners through thick and thin. And a tiny note that you could actually sign up with VI College for a complimentary 2-hour webinar through the link that we share, on Facebook. Should be keen to know how you could possibly secure your future with passive income, along with Pauline with you on the path. And of course, we'll be giving away 5 books today too, with the book title of your choice, of course. So remember to like, share, and comment on this video. And love may be the reason why couple decides to put a ring to it, but commitment and respect are what kept the marriage together. So in this 3rd episode of the VI College Talk Show, we have Pauline, Executive Director of VI College, and very honored to have blissfully married couple, co-founders of Lunch actually, Violet, Lim and Jamie Lee, to discuss everything, from the dating game to challenges faced after marriage. And the couple will also share how they overcome COVID-19 together and why it's necessary to consistently build up resources to stand up to unforeseen family crises like this. So a little background about our guest couple here. So Violet read law and earned her master's in industrial relations and personnel management, and she started her career as at the Citigroup Singapore before starting Lunch actually at the age of only 24. Whoa. And she was inspired to enter the dating and relationships industry after observing many of her colleagues and her friends who were single and not dating as they were married to their jobs. Sounds sad, doesn't it? Laughing, right? But so many of us are married to our jobs because we are so passionate. So and Jamie, he's a little bit quiet though. He studied economics and the major in accounting and finance, and he was working in the Deutsche Bank. Also in the bank industry as an IT analyst before he embarked on the entrepreneurial love journey with Violet. And Jamie is a strategy board game enthusiast which is passionate about strategy, technology, and system. So right now, after I introduce the couple, right, ain't you just curious, probably Jamie and Violet, could you actually share with us, how you met each other, your love story? Let's get a little bit lovey-dovey, set all the hearts going in the studio,
Yes.
And how you finally decide to take a leap of faith to the marriage vow. Yeah.
Okay.
I met Violet because we were both in student societies.
Uh-huh.
So I was in the Singapore Student Society and she was in the Malaysia Student Society.
Oh.
And their society wanted to borrow the projector from us for the AGM.
Conclusion is must find things to borrow.
So I was the general secretary, so I volunteered to bring the projector to the AGM.
Right.
So I was there purely for that, but at the same time it was interesting to see how they conduct the AGM as well.
Yes.
So that was when I remember I was sitting there, I already helped them set it up and everything, and suddenly this vivacious, lady turned her head around and just introduced herself and said she was...
So did her hair flew and the wind and then after that, there's lightning strike and ding, love at first sight. Does it really happen that way?
No, actually, right, I need to interrupt here.
No.
Yeah, so why I need to interrupt here is because, like he has just mentioned,
Yes.
that's in his memory, that's how we met, right?
But that's
actually,
not
it's
in your memory.
Yeah, it's not. Actually, we have already met before that.
So there was not enough wind to get your hair flowing. So she didn't.
Her story
realize
is we met earlier at a dinner, but she was sitting opposite ends. Generally you don't talk to people opposite
Yeah,
ends.
but after that we actually shared a cab. So a cab is very small, right?
Right.
Yeah,
I was sitting in front.
Like lorry lah, cab she's right, cab is small, not lorry.
So guys, it's a bit blur sometimes. So sometimes even when we meet the love of our
Yes.
life, sometimes we are not even aware of it. So that was a story of being a bit blur, and I was very focused talking to my friends.
Right.
I didn't realize that there was this wonderful lady there.
So he's trying to cover his
No,
tracks
no,
now.
no.
He's trying now.
Totally
Suddenly,
true.
you're a wonderful lady.
Yeah.
So were you in your signature purple color then?
No, I wasn't. So actually, like my signature purple color was
Yes.
actually something he suggested after we started the business.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. So it was quite funny. Like this is something I always make fun of him. Like until
Yes.
now, right? We've been
Yeah.
married for like 15 years now.
Yes.
We've been together for 20 years now. So
Yes.
I always make fun of him. Like say, see, you didn't even remember the first time we met. So okay lah.
See, love at first sight overrated.
So to all the
Oh.
See, you
yeah,
can
it's
still have a
overrated.
strong relationship even without it. Yeah.
Okay, so it doesn't matter whether you remember the person or
Yeah,
not,
it
as
doesn't
long as
matter.
it can last forever.
Exactly.
As long as you have that connection.
So
when you really found out.
what is it about Violet that makes you ding? It's like the heart shaped cloud, you know, and then it keep come along. So what is it about her, you know?
I
Okay,
think,
must test him first. Test him.
Yeah.
After in the AGM itself, actually the impression was pretty strong, to be honest. So it was an impression of this very, strong-willed, very capable woman, who was at that point running for president. So she was running president, and she just came. She just came to a few weeks, and she was already running for president.
Right.
So I thought that just got me. Okay, that's very brave because, this type of AGMs, especially students, was a popularity game which you just get as many friends to come
Yes.
and vote for you at that spot.
Right.
And she just arrived, so she probably was new, but she wanted to run for president anyway. So interestingly, she didn't win, but she ran for general secretary, and that's where I stood in and just gave her some advice what the role it was, everything. So I participated in her election success after that. So she won as general secretary.
See.
As the General Secretary of Singapore with the General Secretary of Malaysia. I see. Okay, so that's how it comes.
So what about Violet? What caught, what caught your eye for
so
Jamie?
actually, when we first met, as in the first one I remember,
Yes,
and
yes.
also the first one he remember.
Okay.
Actually, that time I was seeing someone else. So I thought like, wow, like this guy is like very nice. He gave me some tips on how to win as general secretary and things like that. But at that point, I didn't have any romantic notions, like because like I said, I was actually seeing someone else, right?
Yes.
But what happened subsequently is that I had broken up with my then boyfriend, and then so what happened was that I was, heartbroken. I was like, I just don't want to do anything. But then my president, like the one who won, the guy who won, actually said, hey, Sing Sok, Singapore Society is having the dinner and dance. Then he said, we must be supportive. We must go there and support them.
Right.
Then I'm like, really? They said, yeah, we must go. Then I'm like, okay, fine. So dressed up, went for it. And then that was the continuation, so that time I already broken up. And then he actually came over to our table and started talking to me. Because you want to tell that part of the story why you came over, yes.
She's trying to test you, so
Yeah,
it's either
see,
you can get into the
remember.
bedroom tonight or you can't.
Oh, that's so far, right? So far a bit.
You choose. So far, of it you choose. Yeah.
No, but I mean, she knows the story. Basically, before that, after she won, I started hearing through the grapevine great things about her. Say that she was very capable, she was really smart, she's really doing a lot of things for the society. So that elevated the impression further. So I knew that this lady was quite dynamic, was very intelligent, and was really making impact so fast. So my observation then, this vivacious lady was correct. So what happened was when actually I'm a very shy guy, very quiet. To be honest,
After you started talking, I start to doubt that.
So I'm actually a very quiet person.
Right.
So even then, I actually rarely go up and talk to ladies because I was actually very shy. But because I had such a good impression and I heard such great things, this time I actually plucked up my courage and actually went to talk to her.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how long did how did you all get started, and how long you were each other, that kind of thing, and before you decided, yes, I do.
I need to say
Yeah.
I need to say my reasons were quite superficial . So I thought, hey, this guy, you know, like wow, tall, you know, quite good looking, not bad leh. And then you know, like in UK, you know, it's very cold, right?
Yes.
Well, then he looks very good in his trench coat. Then I'm like,
He's the oppa during that
Set
year.
I'm getting attracted to her. And I was all about, wow, this lady very dynamic. Yeah. Normally it's the other way. Normally it's the guys who are
Yes,
shallow.
exactly.
yeah. So I always tell my singers now or my clients that I say, hey, you cannot be like me. Don't be like so superficial like me. You know. I said I was so superficial, but I got lucky, you know, and then I still found the right guy. Yeah. So I mean, like we started seeing each other for a while, but we were quite hesitant, especially he was quite hesitant whether to get into a relationship because he was already in his final year and I was still in my second year.
Yes.
So he was actually graduating and going back to Singapore. So if we did start a relationship, that means we are going to have long distance.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
2 years.
And we only started dating like in March, and actually we'll graduate in June.
Right.
Yeah,
right,
but
right.
at the end we did lah. So we started dating in March. We graduated in he graduated in June, so he went back.
Yes.
So we had a 2.5 years long distance relationship.
That's not easy. It's
Yeah.
almost impossible for me.
Yeah.
You give it to me, I say sorry. I gonna white flag.
Yeah, so that was quite interesting because like that's why he was quite hesitant at first. He's like, you know, we are only together for 3 months, then we're going to be apart. At first we thought it's 1 year, right? But I decided to do a master's.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Yeah, so it was like another year, you know, like so all in all it was about 2.5 years. Then after that I applied for a job in Singapore, you know, which is with Citibank here in Singapore, and then I came over lah. So that's where we continued our relationship, and then he proposed a year later, and then we got married a year later. So
You're very effective.
yeah. So all in all, our 爱情故事 like is 5 years lah. So we got together. 5 years later, we got married. Yeah.
Wow.
I
That's
think
complicated.
as much as it was difficult for a long distance, it was that moment that I knew that she was the one. Because you know, generally you would think you drift apart when you don't see each other, and you will be less enthusiastic to talk after a while, especially 2.5 years. Right? So the thing is, I actually realized I was looking forward to the call. We called almost every day. I was always looking forward to the call. We always talk. We connected, even she not being there, well over the phone.
Right.
And then I spent a
That
bomb.
was phone, right?
Yeah, I
There
spent a
wasn't
bomb.
any
Yeah.
And it's very expensive.
no Zoom, right?
I spent a bomb. I spent a
You know,
bomb.
it's
just
all
to do
these
it.
like
Cards.
phone cards.
Phone cards, so that's cheaper.
Yeah, I still remember it was
Only
like
cannot see, you know.
cards,
Ah.
pages.
Yes,
Yeah.
those pages,
It's not this time, now we
exactly.
have Zoom.
Yes,
You know,
yes.
see one another.
So all of you guys now are the youngsters dating
no
long
reason
distance, so lucky, you know.
Okay, I think probably some of you have not seen phone cards before, but yeah, let's not talk about phone cards,
They're like,
okay?
what? Phone cards.
You know, that's like different
yes.
phone cards, right? The
Phone
different
to-
values.
Yes.
Yes.
And it cannot be a case of flying to UK and see
Yes.
one another.
Yes.
Yeah, last time it's really like you write letters,
Yeah,
even.
yeah,
And you don't know
emails.
whether the letters got lost or
Yes,
not.
yes.
So I sent her care packages.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
these
yeah, very
boxes
sweet. He'll
with
send me all the
food,
care
local
packages.
food, and
Yeah, because I love like Swan Mei and things like that. Yeah, so he'll pack everything, like he'll put a soft toy, then he'll put Swan Mei, then like put all sorts of different things, like very, very sweet.
Something I feel,
can learn.
I think we can change this to a Valentine Valentine collection, and then put all the background all pink color. You know. Wow, very sweet, you know. See the way they are together. Gosh. Okay, so how did the proposal happen?
That one also a very good one.
Wow,
So so right, people propose, right? Usually they will propose like maybe find a nice restaurant.
no. You
or
want
like
to apply
find-
for HDB or not?
So
Singaporean.
it was like on New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then he said, hey, you know, let's go out. So at first, right, his friend actually say want to go out with us, leh.
Yeah.
Then I said, hey, go lah. I said, hey, let's go and meet your friend lah. Then he was like, no lah, I don't want to hang out with my friend. Then I was a bit puzzled because like this friend and the girlfriend, we are quite close and we usually
Yes.
do things together. Say, no, we go by ourselves. I said, okay, let's go. Then we went to this place, the Memorial Park. You know, the one opposite
yeah.
Suntec.
Oh,
The one
yes,
with
yes,
like
yes.
the
That one.
memorial, yeah.
The
So-
war memorial.
Yeah,
thing,
war
right?
memorial, exactly, right?
I was like, hey, why go there?
Why go there?
Do you see extra things? No. Okay, we just continue. Sorry.
So then we were sitting there, and then like talking. Then you know he was hugging me from the back, and then it's like almost like midnight already, right?
Yeah.
Then suddenly like wow, I feel something in my hand, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then he's like, oh, will you marry me? Then wow, the fireworks came out.
Oh.
Because New Year's Eve.
Oh,
Very good, right?
Yeah,
You know the perfect moment.
Yeah, so
not
so
to
so
pay for
赢家
fireworks
是
also
你
but
赢了咯。
yeah.
It's just that you use the Sentosa the fireworks at 8 o'clock.
No, but I thought the reason why he chose Memorial Park was very sweet.
Right.
Yeah, because at first I was thinking, you know, people usually choose the first date where they go lah, or like
Yes,
some
yes,
nice
yes.
restaurant they decorate whatever, or like hotel room they decorate
Right,
everything.
right.
So I'm like, what? After that, I asked him why Memorial Park, right?
Yeah.
Wow, his answer very good. His answer was right. He said, you know, like restaurants, they might tear it down. Hotel, they might tear it down. War Memorial, they'll never tear down.
Okay, I'm gonna give you already.
Okay.
And but you were already very comfortable with him. So it was like
yes.
the moment he said that, you was like, I do. I do. You know?
Yeah. I mean, the truth is, right, like, I
Yes.
knew quite early in the relationship that, you know, he's someone I want to spend the rest of my life with. And I'm also the type of person, right, that I don't want to waste my time on. I tell you, I think it will shock
Yes.
people, you know. Like, actually, 6 months in a relationship,
Yeah.
I already kind of have the talk with him already.
Serious ah?
Yeah.
Cameraman, excuse me, can you put love balloons above them? Special effect, please. Special effect. Oh, sorry, cameraman say 2 last minute. Okay.
Because, I mean, actually, that time I was still very young. I was like maybe like 20 or 21. But I just feel that I don't want to waste my time. I'm those kind of people, like, if it's not going to get anywhere, right, don't waste my time. I don't want.
So by
Yeah.
25, you're married.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, so it's around your time. Also.
Yeah, because I just feel that, I mean, I'm not saying that you must marry me at that point,
Yes,
we're still
yes,
very
yes.
young, but I just want to know that, like, we are on the same page, that, you know,
Correct.
he has the same idea that this
And
is
you're
something
serious about each
serious.
other.
Yeah, so because if not, I'm like, I don't waste my time, I don't want to, you know, like, do all this, like, just play, that sort of thing. Yeah.
Okay. Wow, that's very good. So, Pauline, after
Yeah.
all the
Yes,
lovebirds,
I
the
think
dog,
I-
the balloons hanging
Luckily
around
my
them,
husband
right?
not here. He wears dress.
Must hear from you now. So,
Mine?
yes, your love story, you
My
know.
love story very simple, not so dramatic. Yeah. Basically, we know each other during internship.
Yes.
Yeah. I was. My degree is hospitality and tourism, and I was being sent to a place called Planet Hollywood. Not sure whether you still remember
yes,
this
yes.
restaurant.
Oh, Planet Hollywood.
Planet Hollywood. So it's a very hip place, and so on. And because it's an internship, then I have
Right.
to go around to the different departments for management training internship.
Right.
So that's where I met my now hubby, then ex-boyfriend or whatever lah. Okay, so he's one of my trainers.
Okay.
Yeah, working in the kitchen, he's a chef. Yeah, yes, and because I don't know how to cook. Really, and then we have to go in hotel management. We're actually teaching about. I mean, we learn management, but we never learn cooking.
Yes.
But I have to go in, and Planet Hollywood is a very, very busy restaurant. So it was over there, and then we have to flip steak.
Oh, wow.
Flip stick.
You have to cook the steak on Saturday night. Then all the steaks all over there, and I can't even get to know which one is medium, which one is medium rare, which one is well done, and all this.
Right.
So I didn't know he was interested in me lah. Yeah. So he was a trainer, and he stayed back. And so he was always my trainer. Yeah, in my shift and so on. So that was how after that and because we are young, alright, so we always go out with friends and so on, and that's how after a while we got together and things like that. Yeah.
Very
Yes.
nice. So it started from like friendship and then
friendship. From a trainer, he's my trainer, to then a group of friends, and then of course after that I know lah, because everybody hinted. Yeah, then naturally after a while, that time also I didn't think of like because 18, 19 years old, it's like okay we let's test it out and see whether it works or not.
So it was the internship and then you went back to
uni.
Okay.
Yes, to uni.
Okay.
Yes, but I still work part time because my family wasn't quite well to do, so I have to still earn a keep. And the manager offered me a part time job.
Oh,
That's
nice.
it. Why not? Right? And after that, also it became my first full time job. Right before I became a public servant. But how I became a public servant was also because after a while I realized both of us could not always work in the shift work. Yeah, because that's a shift work, and that was where I wanted to find a more stable job, and also because I went to apply for a ministry. So after rounds of tests and everything, managed to go in, and then we decided to settle down, and that's how our love love story goes. Yes. Yep. Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty interesting. So, so what is it about your partner, right, that actually strikes you that yes, he's the one, you know, and are you like Violet, you know, like half year down, she already said, yes, I'm going to see if he's ever going to propose to me anywhere, even if he going to propose to me on Fort Canning, I'll do it. You know, do you also have this kind of mindset as well?
I'm quite we did a discussion, you know. I remember he brought up this topic when we were in Vivo City. You know the Vivo City that we always like to go there in what's that place? There's this bridge that links Sentosa.
Yes.
Yeah, so one day we were talking and then he said, you know what, after I graduated from uni, he said, why not we get married? Because we were together for some time. And after some time, it gets a bit like, you know, in dating Singapore, quite boring one.
Yes.
It's either you go watch a movie or you go shopping. Yeah, you know. And after
and
a
not
while,
go East Coast or whatever.
Yeah,
then
precisely. That's why we always sit down there at the Vivo, you know. Yeah, what to do, right? So after a while, it becomes I go to his house, he come to my house, and it's no difference anymore in terms of like we don't know. You see, if you say you get married, you don't know think where to go, right? Go watch movie or go shopping. We always do the same thing. Yeah,
right,
there's not much to really do in Singapore. So in the end, he brought up the topic, and it was actually really it's the HDB thing. Okay,
really,
that brought us together.
Let's say hello, your raise hand. Who doesn't get married through that way one? You want to apply HDB or not? Got one new BTO. You think the second one not bad or not?
For him, it's not the apply. It's just nice. The parents' house got en bloc. You know, the SIRS program. So I said, my parents are quite old and they don't have much CPF.
Yes.
So I was thinking of taking over. So why not like that?
Right.
You know, both of us got married and we can just take over the HDB. Then my parents, you know, no need to take the loan. They can take the money out and become their retirement funds. That was what I said. Yeah, sounds. I tell you, our marriage is very logical.
Right.
It's not so romantic. It's on a practical.
So like start to end is like how many years? And after that you all got married.
Like,
you know?
I think 2 + 3 years. After
actually that's quite fast.
Internship to I never thought about it. So I told you. Whatever, I'm not like Violet saying, he's gonna be the man, you know.
Nice.
It was
like
things move
the
on.
man on the white horse, you know, wearing a trench coat.
So I was like just going on with life, and then okay, sounds like sounds really true. You have a HDB, we can marry. And then after that, then just things happen that way.
Nice.
So you know, in order to get HDB, you got the ROM, and why not lah? Yeah, it all comes. That's why. When you ask for my honeymoon photos, sorry, I don't have honeymoon photo because.
But you have love. I see you have so many holiday photos.
Oh yes.
Like you are perpetually on honeymoon all the time.
yeah. After when the kids grow up, yes, we do this on a yearly basis, a couple trip. Yeah, but when we were young, you know, we can't afford to really have this kind of trips because, I mean, we do have pay, but what we do is. A lot of during the wedding, we do spend quite a bit in terms of the house because we are still young. So we got to take over the house and we got to renovate and so on.
Right.
So we were very focused. That's why I tell you I'm a very pragmatic and.
No, I think your love life is a very typical Singaporean Singaporean kind of relationship of getting to know each other. Yes. Yeah, it's time already. It's time to do this. You know, it's a milestone. Okay, hit on the Gantt chart. Okay, yes. Please complete. Okay, done. Complete, done.
Really.
Okay, so I think it's actually very interesting that both you and Jamie and Pauline, right? You both have very, very different career switch. Like you're from Citibank and you're from Deutsche Bank, and then suddenly you are going to helping couples tie the knot. You know, like helping couples part talk. You know, having love at first sight, and then understand each other and getting hitched and all. You know. I'm sure the government love you like loads lah because you play a part in producing babies for the nation but the thing is what actually got you switch because it's so different. Banking is all about count money, see money, one more digit, one less digit. IT is like okay, go to do update, make sure no one hacks my system or whatever thing, and it's really different from what you do like matching couples. So what got you onto this switch?
So I think for me there was a push and pull factor lah. Yeah. So the push factor, the truth is like even though I've been like groomed by my parents since young, really like you say like do the check boxes, right?
Yeah, it's
Study
like,
hard, get
yes,
good
yes.
grades, get into a good university, get a
Correct.
good job, which I did all of them,
Yeah.
that right?
Correct.
So when I was there like in city, I mean honestly nothing to complain about lah, because I'm a management associate and it's like it's a very cushy job and
Cushy
you're
job,
kind of
you're
like everybody
paid,
is like kind of like looking at you, like there's a lot of opportunities
Yes,
for
potential
MAs.
high flyer.
Yeah, exactly. However, I just remember like sitting at my cubicle one day and then looking at my boss in her beautiful glass office, right?
Yes.
And I was just thinking to myself, I think I don't want to be doing what she's doing in 10 years time. So I
So
think,
don't want to be in a beautiful glass.
So I think to me it's like that shows me that maybe I'm not really cut out to climb the corporate ladder. Yeah, so I think that's the push factor. I was getting a bit jaded and a bit disillusioned. I couldn't really see like my contribution to the bank, right? Like you say, like if it's like let's say 1 digit more, 1 digit less or whatever, like I couldn't really see how I'm contributing to it. I like
Right.
things to be very tangible. So that was the push factor lah. So the pull factor was that when I was in city, like you say internship, right? I was also like I was being rotated a lot, so I get to meet a lot of people. I meet a lot of people in the bank. I was also very active in the city club, which is the staff recreation club lah. So I was like the community service director. So I was organizing all sorts of community service activities. So while like meeting all these people, I realized that how come so many of my colleagues were single and not dating? So to me that was very surprising. Because that time I was about like 22, 23,
Right.
and like my colleagues were like maybe about my age or maybe slightly older lah.
Yes.
But at the same time, I have quite a lot of my girlfriends or like friends who were all like getting engaged, getting married. Then I'm like, how come both also about the same age group, but one group is like all getting engaged, getting married, and then the other group is not even dating. So I was thinking, what is the difference? So I
Right.
realized the difference is that people who are getting married or getting engaged are people like us, like we met at university or we met at school. But people who kind of like miss that opportunity of meeting someone at school or at
Or
university,
loaning
right?
things
Yeah.
and helping with the loans.
Yeah,
Yeah, they miss that lah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So it gets more difficult because when you start working, things change. Like when you are dating, like just now we heard our love story, right? It's
Yes.
like very lovey-dovey.
Yeah,
It's all
very.
about like, oh, you like me, I like you, that kind of thing, right? But when you
Yes.
start working, it's very different. When people will date differently, people are like, oh, so what do you do? It's very different. The conversation is very different already. So that was what kind of like made me realize that, actually there are a lot of singles out there. How can we help them? So honestly, at that point, right, I've never matched with anybody in my life. But my friends have always come to me for their love problems. So I'm like their aunt agony lah. So they're always coming to me like the guy will call me, the girl also call me. Then like on one hand I'm talking on the house phone, on the other hand I'm talking on my mobile phone, then trying to solve their problems for them. So I'm like, actually maybe this is something I can do for a living. So I came across the concept of lunch dating, which at that point nobody have heard of in Singapore or even in Asia. But I thought it was a great concept because I can see how this can fit into the lifestyle of my colleagues lah. Because I know they work really long hours, but like lunch seems like a good time, just meet someone, short, sweet and simple, maybe something might come out of it.
Right.
So that was when I decided to share this idea with him. Yeah. So we want to share then why we decided to do it.
Part 2.
Yeah, part 2.
So actually, I left my job around 8-9 months earlier already. So the idea was actually was to do business. So before that idea came, I felt it was the same thing. A bit of disillusion being in a bank where you're this tiny little gear, moving small little things, maybe affecting small little things. But I remember in my story of when I realized that I look out the window, the cars were moving, and I realized, wow, there's no impact. Yes, I churn out all these reports, I do all this testing, but there's really hardly any impact. So I left my job 9 months before the idea, and I tried 3 different things, and then it couldn't take off. Those things couldn't take off.
Right.
Then I remember 1 month before she presented the idea of the lunch dating concept, I recall being a bit, maybe nothing's happening. Savings being drained away. Soon have no capital left to start business. So I was thinking of maybe it's time to find a job really.
Right.
Then that's when I read this. Everyone knows this book, Army for Our Generation, which is Who Moves Your Cheese.
Yes. The cheesy book.
So it was about a maze and all that.
Yeah.
But as I read it, it resonated. where I was, finding that little bit more cheese to sustain the journey in the maze, and it really resonated. I kept on searching for that business to do, and when the lunch dating concept came up, I said let's do it, and I took some survey forms, went on the streets to just test the concept, where people will rate it.
Yeah, last time there's no Google Forms.
No survey monkey or anything.
Exactly. That's already physically.
So really, you go there, and then when I compiled the results, I was very surprised. To me, it was, it seemed like a lot of people say more negative things about it, but actually people were okay.
Right.
They actually said good things in the survey, so I was very surprised. Then I shared the results, and then we took the leap. And then she left her job also, which of course made her parents a bit very concerned.
Like, who is this guy kidnapping my girl and then try to...
It was very funny because it's like, I'm an only child. So, like only child, of course parents do have expectations,
Exactly.
right? So at first when I studied law, they are very happy. They're, oh my goodness, my daughter is going to be a
lawyer,
right?
lawyer.
Then after that, I said, I'm not going to do law already. I'm going to be a banker. Then she said, okay, banker also not so bad lah.
Yes.
So I remember, like going back to Malaysia, we took the coach back to KL, and then like, set my parents down, and then say, oh, daddy, mommy, I got something to tell you.
Yeah.
So maybe in their mind, they think it's something very happy, right? Maybe thought
getting married
yeah,
again.
exactly. so maybe that's what they are thinking. So then I was like, okay, I've got something to tell you, right? They said, okay, I'm going to quit my job. Then of course the face not very happy already, right? But
weather change already.
Yeah, and then I said, and I'm going to be a matchmaker. Then it's like the jaw drop, right? It's like crazy, what are you thinking? Why you want to do this? And then in Chinese we have this saying, right? Like 不做中,不做保,不做媒人三代好.
Yeah.
So then they're like, oh my goodness, what is my daughter doing? Then of course they are like, okay, since Jamie already quit his job, right? Why not you just let him do it full time first? Then you do it part time lah. Makes sense, or very logical. But I think I'm the type of person, it's like either I do it, I give my 100%, I give my 150%, or I don't do.
Okay.
Because I don't want to have the what if. Because if it doesn't work out, right, I don't want to have the what if, like what if I quit my job and do it, would it have worked out? Yeah, so I, finally I use all my legal skills, persuasion skills, managed to convince my parents that then they reluctantly gave me their blessings. But I mean, of course, after that, they have been great supporters.
Right. But Jamie, what got you sold into the idea? Because it's very different. You're from, IT, although in banking industry, but IT background. Yeah. And this has nothing, really, nothing to do with, the man you all have envisioned. You're going to do some other stuff, that's probably other business, but why this that you've not heard? You've got no really proven facts to show success stories.
I think, interestingly, the 3 previous ideas were completely different too. So
so it's like, okay, it's just another one.
I was at a stage of exploration. So in a stage of exploration, I knew I had to be open-minded. When she told me the concept and something just felt like it would work. It was intuition, even though there was no data to back it up.
Yeah, because
but
you're supposed to be a data person. Yeah.
That's why to deal with the lack of data, I went to do the survey.
That's
to
convince yourself.
Yeah, to convince myself.
So does the love part contribute like 80%, data contribute 20%?
I don't know. I just think when the concept resonated in the first impression when it was presented, and when the data correlated that,
so it makes a lot of sense.
and then I'm going to have this very capable person to be my partner. So suddenly I thought, hey, maybe there's something here. But of course, then we had to find the capital. We had to do all these things, and it just fell in place very fast. Somehow, the idea or this concept just seemed to resonate at that moment. So maybe it's a matter of timing. Because we also we also worked. Yeah. I also saw my colleagues when she was mentioning. I also saw my colleagues all busy, don't have no time. And to have a spot at lunch to meet someone new, that seems to be a very logical moment to actually network as well. Because that's what we did also. In our lunch, we actually went and talked to new people and everything, and meet our colleagues and talk to them and connect with them.
It's actually very interesting because it's total switch, and then the third person also total switch. Yeah, it's like for Pauline, right? She's as advised by your dad, right? You got to stick to the 铁饭碗, the iron rice bowl. The government job won't fail, won't die. Sure, will live until 100 years old. You will support your family until how many generations? And what got you out of government
I just
job,
realized
you know?
me and both of us switched jobs, you know. They were from the financial sector,
Yes.
all right, switch over to so-called matchmaking, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then I am from like a hotel line. In the end, I
Yes.
didn't work in the hotel because, yes, my dad didn't like me because of the shift work.
Yes.
So that's why after a while, since both of us were in shift, I said, okay lah, it's also very difficult because both of us were in shift work. We can't really date. It's very difficult because I have to arrange my shift and he has to arrange his shift, and we were in the same company. So it's like it's very difficult, right? Every time I tell people,
Yes.
you know, we have to arrange so that we can have the off day same day, and then we can go part time and things. So in the end, I realized no, it's not sustainable. So why not like that? That's why I changed my job and went over to the government sector. Because my dad was the one to tell me, yeah, 可以做进户岗啦. Right? You know, in the Singapore context, that means go in the public sector, no need to worry. Then yes, I managed to go into a ministry, and why after that, from a ministry civil servant for 10 years, today I talk about finance. It's all because actually all the while I've been doing one job, and that one job is in education. When I was in MINDEF, when I was in civil service college, it's all about training. Yes, and I believe in education, and education is the thing that can help to transform lives. I think it's something very similar to both of us. Like when I was in the ministry, when I was in civil service college, when I do all this training, and I realized, education do help people to see certain things, and it creates impact. And how I actually got into this in terms of value investing, because I was one of the graduates of Value Investing College, of VI College. I was trained from someone who didn't know how to invest, okay, never thought about investing, okay, and lost 40%, lost 40K in my unit trust during the subprime, and that was my children's education fund. And being a mother, this is something that I cannot allow myself to do it. So that's why in the end in 2010, I went over to search how I can grow my money. I mean, being financially responsible is also part of the responsibility of being a parent, right? Then in the end, I found VI College and was taught by Ken and Clive, the founders, how to do investing. And after doing it, yes, I started to collect passive income. So some of you can see the checks that I start to collect, you know, all this passive income.
Right,
And then I started to realize one thing. Actually, what got me to quit my job was one article that actually says only 17% of CPF members made profits when they invested their CPF money. 17%, which means 80% what happened to their money? Actually, they lost their money. I was one of the 80%. So in 2011, when I saw this article, I said, you know what? I want to do something like what Jamie and Violet is saying, to impact people's life. Of course, I do have some impact in the public sector, but when I was doing training, when they come for the class, because it's sponsored by the government, the kind of mentality is quite different. What I mean by different is this: they come to the class and ask me, when is the next tea break?
Does that sound familiar?
Then after that, they said, okay, in order for you to participate, you know what, if you participate, you know, you can leave at about 4 or 5 o'clock.
Oh, then suddenly they're very
Then
into.
suddenly they're very into. I'm like, wow, what am I doing? I'm here, you're being sponsored to come for the class, and I have to motivate you to learn, you know. Right. So that's where when I see the attitude when I come for the class of the investing class, the class ended at 9 o'clock, and everyone still stay back. After that, you know, because they put in their hard-earned money to come for the class, because I want to know how to do it, right? The attitude is very different. You know, everybody, the moment they come in, they sit right in front. I mean, I also sit right in front. Okay, I sit right in front. I want to make sure I know everything. Yeah, I want to make sure that, you know, because I have an objective. And all of us, we came when we have an objective. Our objective is either for our family, for our loved ones. For me, my objective is very clear. I want to make back my 40K that I lost. You know, the 10 years that I lost the money, how? You know, I have to make back for my children, because eldest one already 8 years old.
Yes.
I'm left with the next 10 years, you know. So that was where the stress come in, and I realized the attitude is very different, and people needs it. That's how I realized. And Ken one day just put on in to say that, we need to have more trainers, because there's a demand, right? Cannot be relying on the two of us. I can train. I've been doing that for 10 years, all right? So that's where I quit my job. And when I quit my job, just like Violet, I have to talk to my dad. And you know what? I came without pay. I came to work for the organization without pay, because they can't pay me. Yeah, they can't pay me the kind of pay that the government is giving me. So I have to tell my father, "Pa, I'm going to work." And then when they say I quit my job, all right, the first thing, like any parent say, "Oh, his thought is I must have found a better job."
Right? Makes sense.
Yeah, that's what you thought. Maybe, from one government sector to a stepper, maybe now maybe a G-related company or T-related company, those kind, right? Because I nearly went to the T company. So after that, I said, "Oh, he's expecting some big names." Then I said, "I'm going to this company called AI." Huh? What I? that kind of thing. Okay, never mind. Never heard before. So a lot of pay. That was the thing about father is thinking, wow, the money must be very good for you to go into such companies, right? Then I said, "No pay." Then he said, "What? No pay? Then why you work there?" Right? So this is the first time he thought about it. Because then I have to tell him the story and everything. Of course, we did have some argument. Yeah. But, in the end, at the point of time, 30 plus, really can't say anything. But we did have some quarrel which made me wanting really to do this and make it a success. Yeah, because I said something out that is not really very nice. Yes, in the midst of quarreling argument with parents. So I said, "You know what? I can become a millionaire. You don't need to worry about me." It was the kind of stuff. So
right,
won't be a
right.
problem. I will be financially free one. How without pay? Those kind of stuff. Yeah, but so in the end, I really did it. Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
I guess that's not very easy to do. Yeah, to go so-called without the approve from parents and support, and actually make a decision like this. It again is a leap of faith.
I think it's not the parents don't want to support. I think because we are parents ourselves, it's just at the back of their mind they are like, I asked you to go to public sector because I want you to be safe, I want you to be sound. The kind of thinking.
Yes.
I mean, being a parent, I also understand where my dad comes from. Yeah, now you are like going to somewhere, a new venture, which you don't even have pay. You don't even know the company is so small. Only that time was only 3 to 5 people. It's just started. Probably it's like the same parents thoughts with Violet and Jamie as well, right? I believe when they first started, they also have no pay.
Yeah.
It's that kind of same scenario.
Yeah, that's the similarities I see.
Wow,
How you know? How you actually know that leap of faith is the right leap? Like you will not like leap in the wrong path.
That's why it's a leap of faith, because you don't know.
Yeah.
I tell you, it's really the bigger purpose one.
Yeah.
It's really the bigger purpose. Yes, that I know every time I talk to someone and that someone say thank you to me, I tell you that 2 words. I say, "Pauline, I want to say thank you." It's like my best friend. I just had lunch just now with my best friend. She came for my class. Okay, and then she said, "You know what? Wow, thank you very much. 3 years later, 3 years down the road, I'm going to hit my financial goal." She came in 2013 for my class because after she saw my results. And today, like even my brother, after some years after seeing me, she also came for my course. Then after that, today he's working in Resort World. And Resort World having a big retrenchment. And he said, "Okay, it's all right. Even if I got retrenched, I'm okay because I got passive income." He's single. He needs to have this kind of passive income because if not, where is his income source going to come from, right? So I know that this is something that's going to impact people's life. Like, for example, in life, we look at things like, for example, relationship. Relationship is important. That's what they are in. We need to have emotional support. We need to have financial. I mean, I will say one thing, romance without finance is also a nuisance, right? Yeah, but both are important. We need to have romance. We also need to have finance, and both come together. I think today, I think it comes in very nicely and joining very nicely. And somehow our path somehow seems like the same.
Romance
cross, but it's still the same part. It's to impact lives and to let people get better in their lives.
Exactly. I think that's very meaningful. And I actually find it very inspiring, because the 2 of you, besides all the pink balloons and the front, right? Not every, that's always the front part. But after that so-called honeymoon period, lovey-dovey is over, how are you going to go through life through thick and thin, especially now? I mean, like both of you just got through and survived COVID survival, and how to, like, the both of you, right, survive this, how does that impact your family and your business, and from there, right, what are the adjustments you make to cope with it? I think that's something that I think some people are actually curious about.
survive COVID. Oh,
Yeah,
Yeah,
when
that's
you're- when
like,
Oh,
you know,
okay.
because in this COVID situation, like,
Mm.
you know,
okay.
you survive the COVID situation. I'm sure that has made some impact to your family and your businesses, right? So, how, you know, what have you all done, you know, to actually cope with surviving this? And what's your like your takeaway out of it? You know, like, you know, what if there's another COVID? You know, how are you going to do? You know,
So for business-wise, we survived partly because we were cautious. So it's the same thing. If you're prepared earlier, so prepared financially earlier, or prepared in terms of execution for your business model earlier to deal with the situation, then your odds of survival is a lot higher. So we were fortunate. We took this very seriously, very early. So very early on Feb, we started executing. In fact, some of our team members, our managers said, "Why do we need to do this? No, this is just something that
will go away like
Yeah,
SARS very
unfortunately.
quickly, right?
So we then do the scenario planning. Okay, if it's like that, this is what we're doing, and this is good news. It's just like SARS, you know, it disappears very fast, you know.
Right.
Or if the medium case scenario, this happens. So this is why we are going to prepare this as well, and this is the preparation need. So unfortunately, this is worst case scenario where we are in, right? So
Yes.
that's it. But what if it's a worst case scenario? Worst case scenario, this happened. This is going to hit the company. It's going to be months later, and this will be the impact. The company is going to close down because we are not even. We can't survive something for a whole year, right?
Exactly.
With
Exactly.
impacts. So preparation earlier was one of the factors that saved us. That
In terms
allowed
of
us
the
to
work,
evolve.
the work
Yeah.
processes,
Yes.
and how you're going to manage financially.
How are you going to
because
make money? How
you
are
know,
you going to
couples
sell?
all wants to meet like in person,
Yes.
right? But now
Precisely.
it's like
Yeah, so
How are they
we
gonna do that?
evolved
Yeah.
very, and it was very just in time. So we by the time the lowest point came, in fact the worst point came in April,
right.
we were already in the midst of adjusting. So we had one very very bad month, and then all the good work that the team put in the last 3 months kicked in, and we evolved and we took that leap that helped us to survive. More than survive, we actually started doing well.
So
yeah.
so the change in your work processes kind of help you in your business financially
Yes.
to tide over the period here and thereafter.
Yeah.
So work processes is
Work
something
processes,
that's very
basically
important.
actually you make a list. So
Right.
if COVID hits and it's the worst case scenario or medium case scenario, what do we need to do to make sure the company survives?
Right.
So the team makes sacrifices. We get pay cuts to make sure that we conserve the cash. We really got rid of everything that was frivolous to keep it lean. We looked at how to sell. So we really started journeying towards virtual sales in February. So we also looked at virtual dates in March. You know,
Right,
so that
right.
couples can meet, right? Or else what we selling? And then we started, our marketing started to evolve also to make sure that we had the right messaging in this period. Or else people are going to be just more worried about COVID than they're dating, right? So what's our messaging?
That's true.
That's all the various parts had to evolve. So starting early allows us to evolve just in time, and then we start even to do well in May.
So that's your strategy.
That's just, yeah. So
This.
we
That's what I see. Profound strategy. So you got the right man, dear. So Pauline, you know, I actually understand that there's a period whereby your spouse was unfit to work for a year, you know.
Yes.
So how do you actually, cope with it?
Yeah, that's why when I do this, the more I go through it in life, the more I realize how impactful it is because it helps me. My husband at 40 years old, one night he came back at 12 midnight. I still remember the day, it was 10th of January. Okay, yeah, he just came back 12 midnight, and it's very common he work late. All right, and 12 midnight he came back, and then he said he's not well. Come out from the toilet, he was perspiring, right, in cold sweat, and he nearly fainted. He's all pale. Then that was where I didn't know what happened. I thought he had a very bad asthma attack or whatever, I don't know. Then I just called for the ambulance and sent him to the hospital. And after a while, I'm like, half an hour, what happened to him? They just had an operation on him. Huh? Also, what happened to him? They didn't even tell me, I was like outside the A&E. Oh, he had a heart attack. I'm like, duh. Yeah, 40 years old, he had a heart attack. And because they couldn't have the time to really explain to me. So straight away, they go in, they have to perform the stand, the balloon to make sure that, he actually survived. So that was where after 3 days in ICU, I mean, luckily he's young, 40 years old. And after that, he came back after a long MC. He went back to work. So he tell his boss, can he, have something that's less stressful, less strenuous? Because no matter what, after such a big event, right, your health is not as per the past, right? So and also because the children are still young, so he said, can he maybe adjust his work? But he can't. You see, the boss said cannot lah, difficult. You work in a restaurant, you're a chef, and when dinner time hits, right? How can you say that you can't, right? So in the end, I talked to him, and because we have passive income, so I told him, you know what, our passive income at that point of time is enough to sustain our family's lifestyle, right? So I said, since we have that passive income, okay, so why not you just take a break? All right, you take a break, quit the job, take a break. So from there on, he starts his like a routine, because he never had a routine life. Yeah, as a chef, he was working shift work, so he doesn't really exercise. He doesn't really eat well. So from then onwards, he started to exercise, go for walks, go for swim, and started to regain his health. So after 1 year, then he get another job, and now of course everything is back to normal. Yeah, so I must say that because of this incident, I realized something. I'm quite fortunate. I have the choice. I have the freedom of choice. I mean, our family, we have the freedom of choice to say that, you know what, why not we take a step back? Okay, now you don't need to chiong for, livelihood. I mean, health is more important. You have only one body, right?
Yes, that's true.
So if the kids, touch wood, the father is gone, no more, I can, they can never get a second so-called a father,
Yes.
So that's why say health is more important, and we have the choice to do that. I was thinking, if it comes into my own family last time, in the past, let's say, my dad is a sole breadwinner. Touch wood, if really my dad at 40 years old, something were to happen, I tell you, really, not every family can have that kind of choices in life. Yeah, so I must say that's why I keep emphasizing I must do this to share with people the importance of creating like passive income, especially during our age group and during this period. Yeah, because during this period I've heard so many stories where I'm in my 40s. I tell you, those in the 40s, 50s very stressed. Why? Aged parents to take care of, children who are school going. Now the economy is not doing well. There's huge retrenchment taking place, and who are the ones who first get hit? Definitely my age group. Yeah, those in the 50s, 40s, going to 50, or this age group, we are in the middle management. So, most of my friends who are in the corporate, if let's say we are still in the corporate ladder, running the corporate, we're in the middle management, like the senior manager or probably a VP or those kind of positions. We are always the first to get hit when there's a recession and things like that. So that's why I'm saying, it's so important to make sure that as parents, we have the passive income, we can take care of our children and can have choices in life. That's what I always advocate. Yeah.
So I do agree with you. I see the importance, besides working really hard, all the active income that we need to do, we also need to have passive income in different ways, whether it comes to properties, whether it comes to stocks, when it comes to, whichever method, we need to have different streams of income so that we do not fall in case one of it fail.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's really important. So Pauline, one question for you is, from this experience, right? What would be the advice you can actually give to those listening in, like, since it hit you so badly? What would be the advice you want to give to the listeners out there?
All right.
Yeah.
First, definitely to plan for financials, right? Relationship is also important, and I always think that both come hand in hand. Yeah, I've also heard about relationship being strained because of finances, and this is real, very real. Yeah. Okay, so work is important, and I think for Jamie, Violet, and me, we are very fortunate. We are very blessed. We can find something that we love to do. Yeah, this is why even without pay, we can do it and do it with conviction. Yeah. So of course, it's important to earn a living. Yeah, and after we have earned a living, I know many people are, frankly speaking, sad to say, are in a rat race and they are really not happy in their jobs. But because bread and butter, everything, all these are still important. So apart from that, they can create multiple sources of income, like what
Celestia is saying. So, you can create a second source of income, passive income, be it investing in stocks or investing in properties if we can. And starting to invest doesn't require a lot of money, actually, if they know how to do it. Yeah, and knowledge is really important. For example, Jamie is saying he read this book called Who Moves My Cheese. Yeah, and one of the things that made me change was I read this book called Rich Dad Poor Dad. Yeah, then it gives me a wow, yeah, why I've never thought about it, you see. So that's where I went to source around for courses that teach me about investing. I realized that time I was in the right track in year 2000 when I put my money to unit trust, so-called. I wanted to start to invest, but the sad thing is this, I wasn't educated. Yeah, whatever that we do, we have to be educated. We have to know how to do it properly. Yeah, everything there's risk in life. People were telling me that, to invest, there's risk. Then I say, but in life, everything is risk what? Even your mom give birth to you, there's risk, right? And it's so high risk. Yeah, when we drive, there's risk. When we eat, also there's risk, right? So everything is in life is all about risk. It's just how we manage our risk and how we know how to do it properly. Once we're educated, we know how to mitigate the risks. So that's the part that I highlight to people. It is important for us to have a second source of income, but be educated to do that. Yeah, just like when we want to drive. I mean, when we want to drive, there's also risk, but how do we drive safely? We learn how to do it, we get a license. Yeah, simple as that. Yes.
So okay. So for Jamie and Violet, I'm actually curious, since both of you are so committed towards relationship and helping couples relationship, right? What are your family core values and the methodology? Who's the one that calls the shot at home most of the time? Is there a devil or angel at home?
I think we don't really play the good guy and bad guy lah.
Okay.
Like we are equally nice or we are equally fierce. Yeah, because I think we don't want to kind of like have the kids play us instead. Because if they know that okay, this one is the good guy, this is the bad guy, then I just go to the good. They will know how to play it after a while, right? So for us, it's like we are both Christians, so godly values is very important to us now. So I think that's definitely number one. So we want to bring them up with Christian values. So the next thing is for us is really about them doing the best. So it's not so much about like results or like must always get A's and things like that, because we are actually two very different students. Yeah, so I'm the so-called like straight A students, I do very well. I'm like teacher's pet, that sort of thing. And he's the student where like the teacher come in, then we'll just ask him to go out one.
Yeah. Why? It doesn't look like.
I may not look like it, but the problem is actually I have
you look very
some
harmless.
learning. I have some learning difficulties.
Yeah.
Which I
So
never knew were
it's
learning
not that
difficulties.
it's not that he create problems in class, but it's just he doesn't do his homework or he looks very bored or whatever lah. So I think like what we have realized is that we both came from very different paths, but at the end we end up at the same place. So like he still went to university, he also got a second upper, I also got a second upper. We also graduated from university, we also both become entrepreneurs. So I think that made me realize that it's not so much about die must get straight A's. I mean, of course, if my kids they are very naturally inclined to get straight A's, that's very good lah. That's me, because I how the school teach is the way I learn. I can just listen to the teacher drone on and on, but not all kids can learn like that.
Sure.
Yeah. So exactly. So I think that was one realization that we have. And the other thing is like we focus a lot on values like you say. So it's really about like working hard, like working smart is also important. So we also talk about relationships, because obviously that's something that we are very passionate about. So it's very cute. Our daughter is only 11 years old, right? But she will give us like dating advice.
Wow. 11 years old dating advice.
It's very cute lah. So she'll be like, we just celebrated our 15-year wedding anniversary. So we like went on our date. We went on a staycation. Then before we left, she said, "Hey, you don't talk about work, Yeah, so it's quite cute lah. And I mean the other thing is also we also place a lot of emphasis on like family cohesiveness. So I mean from a very young age, like we tell like our son because he's the older one, it's like the most important person is your mei. It's like daddy and mommy, like we might not be here forever, right? So it's like it's always like inculcating that it's really you need to love your sibling. It's really you need to be together as a family lah. Yeah.
Right. So, how about Pauline? Would you like to share on that as well? What's your methodology in keeping the family together?
I think it's just two words. I always practice just these two: love and kindness. Yeah. So like Violet, I'm not very focused on grades. Yeah, I've got two very extreme children. I always tell people. Yeah, my daughter is like the so-called the straight A students and then go all the way to the top JC to the university. My son on the extreme end, is not the type who loves to study. Yeah, and he's like going to normal acad now in ITE, those kind. But both of them, I think they are good and unique in their ways. Yeah, even though, and my son is that when I was young, I focused a lot about, like, for example, things that probably many parents don't focus on. You know, after my daughter now, she, I don't need to give her allowance. She earned her own keep since 18 years old, after her A-levels. Yeah, she does part-time job. Not that our family is poor, not like me. Last time was because really my dad can't give me, can't support me. That's why I have to work part-time. But for her, she chose to do it. Yeah, to earn her own keep. And she learned investing at 18 years old. And now at 20 years old, she starts to get passive income. Yeah, she learns to invest her own allowance and so on. And when I actually teach them, I teach them a lot about things that the school doesn't teach. For example, values, like what you mentioned, values in terms of how to treat people. Like, I'm very particular when my boy, go out shopping with me, he will carry my shopping bags. Yeah, and since young, when he go out with his grandma, I was tell him at about 7-8 years old, he has to help Mama to carry her shopping bags. Yeah, so she will not go to NTUC when Amma buy things, then she has to help to carry. Yes, so these are the things that, the small little things maybe to many of the people, like for example, go to a lift, he must be the one, the moment if he's one of the first few to go in, he must hold and press the lift. Yeah, to make it, to hold the lift door open so that when people come in, they won't be knocked against. Because I do have experience whereby guys go in, they move all the way to the, and then the door just closed on me, you know.
Exactly.
I'm shocked. I was shocked that time, and what's the guy doing? Yeah, and I'm like, I have to teach my boys all these things. And when I come out from taxi, my boy will, like, as I'm paying, so he will help me to open up the door, carry the stuff, and things like that. I think these are probably to a lot of parents, I think in Singapore we focus a lot about academic, the grades. That why are you not getting like 90 marks, why you fail. I think this is just one part of their lives. But other parts of their lives, I think many parents probably forgot about that little things that teachers may not be teaching them, but in our everyday life, these are important, especially for my boy. I want to teach him to become a gentleman, how to be a man. Yeah, I think that is really important because I've seen many youngsters I just have to say
like when I was in my poly days, when the feeder bus come, and then we were all running up, and then the boy just in front of me just ran up. Okay, that's it. I can't get out of the bus anymore. It's not like, ladies can. Okay, it's okay. You go out first. No.
Or hold the door open. Very simple things. It's not I go in and then the door slam on me. I'm like,
I think these are some of the tips that you give to the couples as well, right?
Oh yeah.
So I'm just curious, like when they first started dating, what are the kind of tips, the do's and don'ts that you always tell them when you probably you go on your first date, right? What are the do's and don'ts that you should and you should not do? Maybe I think something to lighten it.
Yeah.
I think like there are some basic ones like I think what you have mentioned, right, for sure, like I think chivalry sometimes is a bit of seems like a lost art in our society nowadays. So I totally agree with Pauline, like also with my boy, right, like I emphasize on all of this, but I think sometimes like the not so good thing is I feel like we're making our daughter into a princess because the boy is doing everything, like the boy is carrying this, so anyways, so back to this question. I think one thing is punctuality. I think sometimes people do not focus enough on it. Like, and
Respect
then-
for time, doesn't
Yes,
it?
and then we say, punctuality is not so much just arriving on time, like it's really about arriving before. So that, like when the lady comes or whatever, then very nice, right? You stand up, like have a
The
seat.
welcome the lady, right?
Yes.
Pull the chair.
Yes. And another one which is also sometimes people don't put in enough thought is also it's important to dress up for a date lah. Because I think sometimes now like dates come so easy, right? They're like, hi, just another date. Then they just can't be bothered. Or sometimes like some ladies also last time, like before COVID, like they just go after work and then they'll be like very tired or they just like anyhow whatever they dress for work. Then I say, hey, you must remember this. Like, what if you go, right? And this is the man of your dreams. You cannot say, sorry, wait, I come back, give me another half an hour. You know what I mean? It's like first impressions matter. Yeah.
Yes.
And the other one is like, then I always tell the guys, like I say, even though we tell them that, okay, it's a blind date, like we say, okay, go Dutch, but we always say like, if you like the girl, right, come on, like just pay for the first date.
Yes.
Yeah, because there are some guys, it's like, wow, very terrible, they really take out their phone and start counting to the last cent. Then we're like, dot. Yeah, but I mean, these are the more generic one, but I think something that I think would really help singers to have a better first date, to go on to the next date, is like how you prepare for your interview, right? Before you go for job interview, you prepare, right? We always tell them that you should prepare before you go on a date as well. So what I mean by that, I say, because people go on so many dates nowadays, there are so many dating apps and things like that, right? Like you are competing with a lot of people, you must think about it. Like yes, you are just going for this date, but actually this person who is going out with you is also going on many other dates.
Oh, sounds very competitive.
Yeah.
Like going on this. I didn't know dating can be so competitive.
Yeah, so your objective is to make sure
It's
you
much
can
easier now than before to go on dates.
you can score a second date. So how do you score a second
Score,
date?
wow.
Yeah, score. So you must make sure
Must
that
go for qualifying round.
I mean it's like scary, but in a way that's really how it works, right? So we always tell them that you must showcase your best points lah. So how do you showcase your best points? So like I mean, for example, that okay, like maybe for guys, like they might be looking for someone who is nurturing, someone who has family values, someone who is family oriented, for example, right? So how are you going to showcase that? You cannot be like you talk to the guy, then you say, oh, by the way, I'm very family oriented one. I love kids. Like very weird, right? Then the guy's like, what's wrong with you? So it's like, how do you share all of this in a normal conversation? So we'll tell them that like prepare like anecdotes, prepare like small like 小故事 lah, like stories, so that when people ask you like, what do you do in your free time? So some girls they always say, oh, what I do in my free time? I go hang out with my friends lor, I watch Korean drama lor, I do yoga lor. I mean, everybody say the same thing, right? But actually this is a very good chance for you to showcase yourself, right? So you can say like, oh, actually during my free time, I have a sibling, and then he has 2 kids, like, so I usually like to enjoy, going over to their place, like while we are cooking, I actually bring the kids down to the playground and then we have some fun. It's a very nice story, but at the same time you are showcasing that you love kids. Like you actually are very nurturing. So these are some tips I hope maybe can benefit singers out there.
So I guess that's also the reason why Pauline is always sharing about your life experience, your story, about why you're so into passive income and how it has helped you so much. So it's all about storytelling.
Precisely. That's why I think one of the key differences of V College when we talk about finance. I tell you, I actually sucks at finance module. I had one module in my university. Okay, I didn't understand what the lecturer was talking about. What present value, what future value, what interest rate. Ayo, what 1 to the
Now
plus
Jamie is
R,
laughing at you.
1 plus R to the
I know.
power of don't know what. I'm like, duh, what do they mean, right? It doesn't mean anything to me, at that point of time. But after, I learned about this thing about investing. Actually, it's a way of life. Yeah, so does it mean by, for example, a business will earn money. When we are investing in stocks, actually we are investing in a business. So anybody who understands, everyone works in a business. It's just what type of business. You may work in a bank, you may work in the property sector, you may work even the government sector. When I actually was in the Civil Service College, actually our courses, we charge course fees. Yeah, there's also a course fee where the ministry and the state board would pay. Yeah, so there's even though it's left pocket to right pocket, but there's still some charges, right? So everyone needs to understand there's this thing called transaction, there's money, there's cash flow, and there's profit and loss. It's not something that's difficult actually for people to understand. When I'm able to teach, I share with them, then they start to realize, oh yeah, I understand. Actually, like talk about revenue. I mean, if you want to buy into a stock or a company, you want a revenue to go up or down, and then they will say up. So it's very commonsensical. So I think the key thing is always this, that when we talk about any topic, it's always talking about heart to heart and common sense. Yeah. So I will share with them the why of doing it, okay, and then also the how, in a way that it is not different from what you are living your life. Yeah. Yes. About money management or financial management.
I'm
Yes.
just curious, right? I'm sure there are like, you know, when the couples come in and say, oh yeah, I want a guy that's da da da, then the girls, yeah, I want you know, then they put all the dating criteria. So do they actually also state that, you know, financial stability as a very strong importance factor when it comes to selecting, you know, a
Mostly
partner?
the women.
Mostly the women.
Because men and women attraction triggers are different. So what attracts many people think it's generic, but they're not. Actually, we have evolved to a point where we are today, because there are certain things that attract women more in a guy, and it's done for evolutionary reason. The same as for the male. There are certain things for women that will trigger attraction more as well. So we have studied the whole science of it, and we know why it developed the way it did. But it's something that many people don't realize, that actually the attraction triggers are very different.
So let's say for men and women, what are the top 3 factors that will attract them to each other?
Oh, okay. Yeah. So we are releasing our survey results soon, but I can share with you earlier. Yeah.
Some of it may not be the most politically correct.
Yeah.
Right.
Because it's not idealistic like everyone out there, someone thinks are.
Yeah. So I mean, for guys, honestly, like physical appearance is very important.
Yeah,
So
visual, they're created by
yes,
God.
yeah.
Visual.
So men are like very visual for sure. So I mean, like honestly, they are not all looking for like, you know, superstars or whatever lah. But I mean, they are looking for someone who is pleasant looking, someone that they will be attracted to. So that's definitely number one. They are also looking for someone who is I would say nurturing. That's also something that comes up a lot. For ladies, it's like I mean, they won't say must be like financially like free or like must be very rich lah, but financial does play a part, because you know, like they are looking for someone that you know, they are able to look up to, you know, like they are on the, and you know, ladies nowadays, they're also doing very well for themselves. So a lot of ladies, they come to us, they also say, I don't want to like change my lifestyle. So I don't need someone who is like super rich or whatever, but at least somewhere, you know, along the same level as
On
me.
par.
Yes.
On par.
And another thing for lady is height. Height is a big
Oh,
thing.
yeah.
So there is a physical element
Yes,
as well.
yes. So
So-
it's like it's quite challenging lah. So because like for guys who are
As a Singapore man, it's not so tall lah.
The actually Singapore men are among the whole of Southeast Asia is the tallest.
Yeah.
Oh.
Because why I say it's challenging, because like for ladies, right, it doesn't matter like whether they are 1.5 or like they are 1.7, they also want 1.75. Then I always say to them, I say you're 1.5, why you need 1.75? Then they'll tell me,
Protection,
they'll tell me, they say, you know, they still want to wear their like 6-inch high heel and still can like,
I think still
and
can
no-
what?
and still put their, you know, like head on their shoulder, you know. So that's where like I need to manage their expectations lah. Then I'll say, you know, right, whether he's 1.75 or he's 1.7, there's no correlation whatsoever whether he's a good husband or a good father.
Well, that's an interesting result, you know.
Yeah. Yes,
So
yes.
I think definitely for ladies, financial is actually
Yes.
on the top side now
Yes,
that they see
yes.
in a man.
Yeah,
Yes,
definitely.
yes, and I
Yeah.
think to be fair, you know, sometimes people will say like derogatory remarks, like, oh, you know, like, oh, you are like gold diggers, whatever, right? I mean, it's not fair, like, it's not true, because at the end of the day, like, they also want to make sure that they are financially stable or secure. So I mean, they're also reasonable, like, they're not looking for someone who is like, you know, like super rich or whatever, right? But it's just like at least, so when we match, we're also matching people who are at the same level. I mean, like, or one level higher, or like lower. That's all lah. Like,
But
we don't-
saying that
Yeah.
also,
Yeah.
that doesn't mean the ladies only will, if the guy's not financially stable at that point in his life, it's a definitely no win for the guy.
Yeah.
There are other attraction triggers, and the guy display traits that show that in the future he could be
Potential.
there's
Yes.
potential.
Yes.
Ladies are
Yes.
attracted to that as well.
Yes.
Yes.
So it's the
He's
confidence as
responsible,
well.
Yes.
he's confident, he has a direction. At this
Yeah.
point he's not earning much, but he has a direction, he has a goal. All these are traits that ladies look for as well. Because
Yes.
it means that in future he's financially
So the
stable, he'll be
attitude.
Yes.
Yes.
So the attitude,
The
okay,
mindset,
yeah,
the
the
attitude.
attitude
Yeah.
mindset.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it's like a cycle. So guys, if y'all want to gain more points before y'all go to lunch, actually, right, y'all should click on the link to come for the 2-hour free webinar. Get yourself, pipe up, say, I'm actually geared up financially, so I have more points now before I go to
Yes.
lunch, actually. So
Yes.
then, okay, you have a higher chance of the better match that you want.
That is true, right? I always find that when financially we are stable, it relieves part of the load and we can focus on relationship,
Yes.
right? So for those who are actually everyday struggling to make ends meet, looking at financials, sometimes they just don't have the energy to after that focus on relationship. Yeah, so I would say that yes, do hand in hand while we are having our relationship. We also need to make sure we take care of our bread and butter. And once that is stable, okay, then we can focus even more time on relationship. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think at the end of the day, before the couples come in hope of forming a stable, lifelong relationship, and you still need to pay your bills. When kids
Yes.
come in, when you want to do your wedding and whatsoever,
Right.
or when comes to life crisis, financial does play a
Yes.
huge part. Although we can say, don't worry, love feeds us, but government don't. Okay, how do you actually correlate to that when it's okay, it doesn't matter as long as I can feed on love, I can feed on air. That a lot of ladies actually find that the younger ones, Pauline, start to crinkle.
Not
wrinkle
really.
a
I
bit.
thought lately the younger generation, they are more into that. Not really love fit us. They are more into saying, finance is more important with relationship. Yeah, they are not like the 70s. I grew up watching Lin Qingxia and Qing Han. Those kind where they run with at the beach.
White color, wearing white
Wow,
color, wearing
yeah.
white color.
So nowadays the youngsters are not like that anymore. Really.
Yeah, they're very savvy.
Yeah, they're very savvy.
Yes,
Correct.
So there's a lesser proportion of ladies coming to you. It's okay, I can feed on air as long as I have love.
The truth is the attraction triggers have been the same
Consistent.
and
Yeah.
consistent for hundreds of years, thousands of years, or tens of thousands of years.
Yeah.
So it's because of the way we have evolved. So the ladies are, yes, you could say, sometimes ups and downs, but generally
Right.
they are looking for a guy that have traits of being able to support the family or protect the family.
Yeah, I think that's the protect
It's
the
the same
family.
Protect
So
and
that's
the word.
support the family. Yeah.
Take
Yeah.
note, active and passive income is important.
Yeah.
If you want to get your next date soon, you have got to click on the link to attend the 2-hour free webinar by Pauline. Then you can get yourself hitched together with, by Pauline. Together
Jamie
with
and
Violet and Jamie. Now I can link it together. It's like one full cycle.
Yes.
Okay, so I actually have also questions, that maybe you could advise, like what are the secrets, to establish, successful career and family relationship.
Wow, this one big topic.
In summary, don't worry, because we don't have until 12 a.m.
Yes.
In summary.
I think like maybe just speaking from my personal experience, I think sometimes like you can't plan everything perfectly. I mean, of course, like if we have the time to plan, for me, like my life kind of just changed in 3 years' time. It's like 24 years old, I started a business. 25-year-old, I got married. 26-year-old, I had my first kid. So really, in 3 years, my life completely changed. Yeah. So I think it's like one thing is take things one at a time. Like I think sometimes people have paralysis, but analysis paralysis. Yeah, which I feel it's also not good lah. It's important, of course, to check your facts, to know what you're getting yourself into. But I feel action is more important. Yeah. So for example, it's like, okay, if I want to find a boyfriend or I'm interested to find love, I do it. I take action. Like for example, I want to increase my wealth. I want to learn how to invest my money. Like what Pauline said, like it makes sense. Then I should do a course, you know. That's what I did as well. Like I wanted to learn how to do matchmaking. I joined a course and learned how to do matchmaking. So I think it's really about taking action. Like don't just keep thinking, planning, but
talking
not,
and talking.
Exactly. and not doing anything about it. Yeah.
That's interesting. Okay, so okay, maybe let's just. Is there any questions on hand? Okay, no. So don't worry, guys. If you have any questions, feel free to PM us, and we'd be happy to answer. And I think what I'll do is I'll do a summary based on the last 3 episodes that we have actually been sharing to date. So in episode 1, right, we have Max Key of Lian Seafood that shared on his secrets of his success in based on his active income by doing live streaming, selling his live seafood, and we learned how both active and passive income is crucial to cushion us in times of crisis and even for our retirement. And in episode 2, we have the 2 millennials, and we learned that it's always good, you know, to start young and with baby steps. You know, I mean, we all start by baby steps, but if we start like what you say, we just talk and no action. There's not going to be one step or one whole step to talk about. You know, we actually get to enjoy more quality time with our loved ones, and even plan our early retirement, as well as prepare when any crisis happen along the way. So passive income is important even for millennials because you have a long way ahead of you. So, and we actually mentioned in the episode, it's never ever too early or too late to start. As well as in today's episode, we experience how life can be unpredictable with the virus situation here, and it's not just here but internationally, and how it's important to safeguard our family and businesses, especially in times like this, and with a backup plan, like you know what Jamie has mentioned, it's very strong in strategy. You need to plan your work processes, plan your finances, you know, whether it comes to active income or when it comes to passive income, and to plan, you know, because it's important because we have actually loved ones who are actually dependent on us, like our parents, our kids, and you know, to me, it's really a form of how we show our love by showing them that we are here for them and taking care of them when they need it. So, and a quote from Benjamin Franklin: "If you plan to fail, if you fail to plan, you are planning to fail." So, plan right now. If you want to match couples like Violet, learn. If you want to have passive income like Pauline, learn. So if you know whoever that you want, you know, you want to get yourself hitched and you need help from Violet, please approach lunch actually, and I'm sure they have enough people to get you hitched, like probably in the next 24 hours online, of course. online. Did I manage your expectation online?
No.
Oops. PM that separately. I cannot give too much details. But if you want to learn in terms of passive income, all you need to do is just use your fingers and on the link, and you get to join us for the 2-hour free webinar by Pauline. Okay, so knowledge is always power. So make a plan to empower yourself by signing up for, you know, whatever courses that you deem that is important for your life at this point, whether it comes to relationship or whether, you know, it comes to passive income. And of course, you know, once again, I must help them buego you a bit, right? If anytime, you know, you like to look for your life partner and make sure that, yes, that person is going to walk me through in life, look for lunch actually, and they have a great team, and some of the team members I know, they have a really great team and professional enough because they have already matched how many couples to date?
More than 4,000.
More than 4,000 couples. That's not counting the number of babies that produced to date. Yeah. And let's talk about Pauline. So how many students do you have worldwide?
More than 50,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, so just make that just tiny little steps. Sign up for the 2-hour free webinar. PM lunch actually team for whatever. So relationship and money is all here, right, seated here. So thank you, Pauline. Thank you, Jamie, and thank you, Violet, and all of you fabulous listeners who has actually stayed all the way through, you know, for what we have actually communicated. And winners of Pauline books will be announced tomorrow. So remember, if you come in late or you come in later, right, just like and share this video so that more people out there could benefit to learn more in terms of relationship tips, or want to get lovey-dovey with Violet and Jamie's love story, or even to get get some knowledge on how you could actually have a more stable future by having passive income with Pauline. So have a fabulous Wednesday evening, and I look forward to see you on Pauline's webinar. Stay safe and catch you soon. Thanks, guys.